So welcome back. Today I'm doing this video at the request of a friend of mine. She's very curious about karma and past lives, and she's had a few past life regressions, and she's just wondering how this all fits. So you may have had past life regressions, or you may have had what comes through for you as really strong memories of past lives. And you may be wondering, how does this tie in to this story of karma? And because, you know, karma is a sort of strange notion, and often in the West, when we think past life, we're really thinking about the fact that we may, even though we know that it's not this person, this individual, it's almost as if we're thinking that our soul, not even the soul, but you know, we're thinking that this person is the one that has lived through life, through those lives. And I know, because I've had really strong memories of what I would qualify past lives. Okay, I've never had past life regressions. I've not been particularly drawn to this, but I have had experiences where, you know, it's been fairly obvious that these were like memories. So they're not imagined. It's not something that you're making up. It's not a story you're making up. It's something which comes through out the blue. You can describe a place in great detail that you've never been to and that you've never even heard of. So it's not like you could Google it and go there and, you know, all of that. So how does this happen? Well, and why does it happen? I think the why is probably glitchy, okay? It can also be tied into your karma. So I'm going to get into that a little bit more without making this video 3 hours long. Okay, I just want to keep this a fairly short and sweet video, and I want to try and keep it simple, because often these concepts are surrounded with a great deal of fog and mystery and things that are not clear. So past lives are tied into your karma. Think of your karma as a bubble of pure, almost pure consciousness that is wanting to experience itself and experience all that there is. Okay, so this bubble of consciousness is going to detach and become an individual to start with. And when it starts, it has all the lessons of the universe to learn. And as it goes through life, it learns a bunch of lessons. And it's the life of this karma, the life of this bubble. This bubble gets handed down and passed from person to person. So it's not individualistic. And although our learning of the lessons is going to impact the karma, it doesn't belong to us. We're custodian of that karma for however many years we're alive, okay, for however long we're alive. So bear in mind, I'm like an ant trying to explain a combustion engine, okay, so bear that in mind. And what I'm saying is only how I understand it. It may be that your understanding of it is very different. But this karma is going to be carrying the memory, sometimes the pain, sometimes the joys, and a whole palette of emotions that are tied in to the lessons that we have to learn. Okay, and there are a great many deal of lessons that we have to learn. Okay, So sometimes we're going to be in a place where we're tying into a lesson that was learned or an experience that was had by this karma at another point in time. And beware that when we talk karma, we're not necessarily, and we talk of past lives where we really are in our linear heads, okay? Like that. Point A, point B, moving in one direction, but time doesn't act like this, okay? So your past life might be future life. Time is circular. Maybe we can talk about that another day. But sometimes what you're living through can tie into experiences and feelings that you've had in the past, and they can come through very, very strong, which can make you feel really odd and like you're inhabiting somebody else's skin. When this happens, if it ever happens, just try to see the lesson. Try not to get lost in the meanderings of whatever emotions this is bringing up for you. The danger is that we're going to be caught up in the emotions that this brings up, and we're going to forget the lesson, and we're going to be reliving the whole thing again and possibly again and possibly again, and not learn the lesson because we're going to be so tied up in how we're feeling. So this is where your meditation experience, if you have any, can come in handy, because you can observe what is happening, and trust me, those emotions when they come can be pretty strong and pretty raw. But the best thing to do is to use your observing skills and to observe what's happening and to try and see what lessons are to be learned. Okay, and how this ties in maybe to your life as well. What has triggered it? Maybe you've put yourself in a place again where this lesson has to be learned. So that's often how we relate to karma. Your karma, think about it as a bundle, an energetic bundle, which you're custodian of, I've said that, which you're a guardian of for your life. And so I always see our job as custodian of this karma as being, as leaving as minimal an imprint as we can. But if we can improve it, then we should, possibly. And so that in itself kind of changes your outlook on life, because you're not just talking and thinking of yourself, but you're thinking of the thousands of souls that are going to be inheriting and carrying that karma. And you're thinking compassionately about those souls. So you want to lighten the load of those souls. And you do that by stopping some of the chains and stopping some of the pain and learning some of the lessons. Those are the best things that we can possibly do with karma. If you're listening to this, you've probably inherited already a pretty nice karma because you're asking those questions. So you are already in a place where you're able to hear this and take this on. Okay. And think further that, karma is not like, it's almost like not a detached thing. It's like there's loads of this bubbles of consciousness that are trying to find out what life is about, and they all interact with each other. So we're, it is about all living things. And as we know, anything that is alive and is. So it is about rolling out that compassion through the whole field of existence, the whole field of consciousness. And so that's why we have a lot of people that work from the heart, that are light workers, and a lot of people who can't just stay like this anymore and just think of themselves, or who can't just inflict a lot of pain onto others anymore. Because we are at the point now in evolution where we want to break the chain, where, you know, there's a bit more of a steep it's not really a learning, yes, it is a learning curve, a steep learning curve, okay, in our karmas. So how do I wrap this up? I wrap this up that don't get too hung up. I mean, you do what you want, but my advice would be, don't get too wrapped up on the intricacies of your past lives, because they were never yours. The lessons to learn are part of your karma. So focus on that. Maybe focus on bettering the karma for you and the generations to come. Although, of course, we're not talking about linear time. And try not to get too wrapped up in individuality. And I know it can be really hard, because I've had those moments where your past life just takes a hold of you and you just want to curl up and you just want to almost go back there. It's so strong. But use your meditation tools. Use your observational skills. Observe what is going on. Listen to what is happening. Figure out why it's bubbling up now. This will be far more useful than getting lost in another's individuality and another person's life. Okay. So I hope this is useful for you. It's a huge, vast field to explore, and this is me, little ant trying to condense that combustion engine into a tiny little nutshell. But I think these are kind of your starting steps and your baby steps to understanding how this can affect you. But of course, as always, let me know what your thoughts are, and if you've had past lives experiences, past life regressions, what has that brought to you? What do you derive from it? Let's open the discussion. How do you relate to all this? Okay. For now, I'm going to wish you a good day, and I will see you again soon. Namaste and blessings.